Eternals has been one of the biggest victims of the MCU's current sequel strategy, hurting the superhero team's reputation in the franchise. The Infinity Saga was crucial in building up the current MCU, and most of the Marvel characters got sequels within the time of the era. By the time of Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame, all core characters except for Doctor Strange received sequels to expand on their stories. However, not a single film in the multiverse saga thus far has a released or announced sequel except for the Kang Dynasty. Though there's still time left in the multiverse saga for surprise sequels, the upcoming MCU slate is already booked up. Especially with Marvel's commitment to a content slowdown, it doesn't seem likely that there'll be room for any more announced sequels. That means that characters from the multiverse saga won't really get a chance to grow in this MCU era, which is especially detrimental to characters like the Eternals, who were in an underperforming film and haven't gotten the chance to grow. The multiverse saga's lack of sequels has hurt the Eternals. Ikaris and s.h.i.e.l.d. embracing in ancient times in Eternals. It's been 3 years since Eternals introduced the titular superhero group, and there has been no follow-up in the MCU since. The film was already divisive at release because of how different it was from most other MCU films. Though the movie has plenty of unique aspects, the project was released to generally unfavorable reviews with below-average box office numbers. Since Eternals introduced an ensemble cast of completely new MCU characters, the group desperately needs some sort of follow-up in the multiverse saga to stay relevant. However, there's no currently confirmed Eternals sequel and the characters don't seem to be set up for cameo appearances in other MCU films either. The Eternals have essentially been isolated from the greater franchise with no connections to established characters. Although Eternals left off on a cliffhanger with Arishem confronting Cersei, Phastos, and Kingo, the lack of a confirmed sequel doesn't give fans much to look forward to. Especially considering that big Eternals plot points like Tiamat in the ocean have seemingly been ignored, the Eternals just don't seem relevant during the MCU's multiverse saga. How likely is an Eternals sequel in the MCU? A Celestial looking at its own open palm in Eternals. Bob Iger recently commented on the MCU's new release strategy and how the studio will favor sequels and established successful franchises. In the case of Eternals, Iger's comment bodes well for the fact that there isn't a confirmed sequel. However, the first film not doing excellently either critically or financially now lowers the odds of a sequel significantly. Especially since the Eternals as a group hasn't been set up to connect to any other MCU characters, an Eternals sequel would be an easy project for the studio to scrap. The MCU is looking to focus on established franchises and their sequels, and the Eternals have a likely chance of not making the cut. There is no confirmed Eternals sequel and the multiverse saga slate is already filled up. Considering how isolated the Eternals as a group are from other MCU characters and the unfavorable response to the first film, the team would be an easy drop for Marvel if the studio has to make cuts. It'll remain to be seen whether Eternals will receive a sequel after all, but the MCU's current direction doesn't bode well for the franchise.